Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of This Week in the XFL. I'm your host, the referee, representing XFL2K.com, the #1 source in XFL news. And you should be checking it out daily because we always have the news #1 before anyone else. We are the #1 for a reason. So hey, not a huge news week, but it is a holiday week. So before we kick it off, to our friends up north in Canada, happy Canada Day. And to all the fans here in the United States, sign you up on Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. That's actually the day we're recording this. We're gonna go do some grilling. We're going out to the lake this weekend, but the important things first, we gotta get the news right to you. So hey, we're gonna kick it off with some hiring news. And again, if you want to keep up to date with all the latest hires, go to XFL2K.com, check out the staff tracker. It's updated as soon as we hear a new addition to any of the teams, right? So sign you up. So we do have one for a fan favorite town here, St. Louis. Az-Zahir Hakim, former wide receiver for the St. Louis Rams, is signing on as the wide receiver coach for XFL St. Louis. That's huge. I know a lot of folks wanted Isaac Bruce, but you know, you can't always get everything you want. The Rolling Stones said it best. And maybe that wasn't a fit, but I think this fit is just as good. He's a person that the city knows, a person that knows the city, has a decent record as well. Beyond playing for the Rams, he also played for the Lions, the Saints, the Chargers, the Dolphins. So, you know, he's been around. He's a little bit of a journeyman. But I would say his home area, his home turf is that St. Louis crowd. So it's good to see those kind of guys, again, signing up for these different teams. You know, looking at his NFL career, he racked up 316 receptions for 4,191 receiving yards, resulting in 28 touchdowns, right? Hey, pretty decent record. I'll sign him up there. So, hey, Mr. Hakim, sign you up. Welcome to the league. Welcome to St. Louis. But hey, all you XFL St. Louis fans, what do you think? Leave your ideas, your thoughts down in the comments. And hey, if you're really thinking about having a good time, click the link down in the description. Join the XFL 2K Discord. We have new folks joining every day. It's getting bigger and bigger, and the conversation is getting better and better. So sign everyone up there as well. So moving on to a little bit more news here. So we know a lot of you like DraftKings. It's one of the apps that a lot of you folks like to use. And even a user asked DraftKings on Twitter if they have any plans with working with the XFL, and they replied that said, hey, thanks for reaching out. We will certainly forward your interest in the XFL along, and they're open to it. And it makes complete sense because if you don't know, Vince McMahon owns a stake in DraftKings. It doesn't say how much, it's not specified, but he does own a stake. So to me, that makes perfect sense with XFL and DraftKings working together. And there's also some rumors that DraftKings could be the exclusive betting app for the XFL. But hey, we don't really have much information on that, but we will keep you in the loop as we learn more. So again, what do you think about a DraftKings partnership? Would you be down? Do you want to see them work with different fantasy organizations? Would you like to see an exclusive partner? Let us know down in the comments below. So we're moving on to team names. So last week we talked about the 5 potential Seattle team names, right? So we have the Wild, the Force, the Fury, the Dragons, and the Surge, and right? And my personal favorite is the Surge. It seems like the internet agrees. But again, you can leave your information down in the comments. But we want to take a look. We want to step aside here and say, when do we expect to see the rest of the names and even the final names, and more so the logos, right? The full identities, the team identities, not just the names, not just the logos or the colors, but the full identities. And we have a couple options here. We have 3 different scenarios that we're going to run down. Now, the first, this I would just put in the rumor mill. Now, I've been hearing a lot of this, so I don't know where people are hearing it, but it sounds like a lot of folks, at least according to the emails and the pings that we're getting, are under the impression that all of the team names are going to be unveiled July 13th at the last summer showcase in St. Louis, right? I don't think that's going to happen. It is a very big possibility, but it's a very small possibility at the same time, right? But that is one of the rumors that is kind of traveling around the internet. So I figured we'd address it and look at, if that doesn't happen, what are the other likely scenarios, at least in timelines, on when we could hear the full team identities for all 8 XFL cities, not just potential names for one city, but all the final names, right? So before we get into that, so we had touched on the St. Louis Summer Showcase. So we're taking a week off from summer showcases, and it makes sense. Again, it's a holiday week. We had Canada Day on Monday. We had Independence Day on Thursday here in the States. So no showcase this week. We're getting one, the last one, next week in St. Louis. And again, the rumor has been brought up. Is that where we're going to hear all the team names? Again, like I addressed, I don't think that's going to happen. So I have 2 other scenarios. So we're going to run through them here. So the first one is hearing them all at once, right? So probably within a week or 2 after the showcase ends, right? Either the Monday through Wednesday, something like that. We'll get some type of live press release or press conference unveiling all the logos. So that's one option. Within 2 weeks after, we get one event with all the logos. And I think that's very possible. The only thing that makes me question that approach, or at least that timeline, is we've really only seen one team trademark any names, right? And so time is getting short on this. Now, it is still possible they may have trademarked it and it hasn't gone live on the trademark website. So, hey, we don't know. Now, the other option, what I'm thinking may be a little bit more likely, but we'll see, is we might see something a little bit more closer to how they unveiled the head coaches, right? So we may get some type of press conference in each city with the president, the team president, right, Oliver Luck, and the head coach, and maybe some other folks from the organization to unveil that identity. And I could see that as a possibility, right? And so the one nice thing that would do is that would fill a drought, right? One thing that you want to do in business is keep momentum. And after these summer showcases end, there's really not much information that's going to hold us over until the draft, right? We have the official rule playbook. We have particular signees that are going to be entered into the draft, right? Some of the folks that went to the summer showcase, probably some that weren't. So we're going to see a couple things in between now and October. But if they do release these in a slow trickle, that leads us into, roughly September, October, depending on the cadence of the announcements. Now, I could see that. And honestly, I think that's the most likely situation. Again, talking about one, there's only one team that has any trademarks live, right? So they may be the first one that we're going to hear. 2, it fills that news gap. And 3, it just keeps that momentum. It keeps information in the news. You always want people to be talking about you. Preferably good, even if it's bad, sometimes it yields decent results, but I think that's what we're going to see. Only time will tell. I could be completely wrong. This is based on nothing. I'm just the referee on the internet running XFL2K.com, which you should check out daily. So we're going to end this off with another AAF story, and this one has to do with Charlie Ebersol, co-founder of the league. So last week we talked about Tom Dundon trying to get a refund and how that may or may not work out. And basically, just to recap, Dundon was putting the blame on Ebersol, saying, hey, he wasn't told about certain things before investing in the league, so he feels like he deserves that money back. And that may be true. So now Ebersol has responded to the lawsuit, not to Dundon though, but he's making his own misrepresentation claims against the players of the league. Basically, he responded to the lawsuit that was filed by the league's former players by alleging that it was the AAF players who committed intentional misrepresentations and fraud. Well, look at that, folks, right? So In the complaint, it's alleged that Dundon, Ebersol, and others had concealed and suppressed material fact about the intentions for the long-term viability of the American Alliance of Football, right? Or the AAF. The league shut down, right? April 2nd, and they filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and that's where a lot of these lawsuits are coming out. So Ebersol's response document does not show what type of fraud or misrepresentations he's alleging, but it's in there, right? So it's interesting. It's just another little bit more salt on the wound. The good thing is we won't have to deal with that with the XFL because Vince McMahon has the capital, Oliver Luck has the brains, and the coaches have the skills to make great football on the field. And we only have a little over 7 months left, and I couldn't be more excited. But hey, we're going to cap this one off. Like I said, it was a little bit of a slow news week, but it was also a holiday week. But we have a couple things that we want to tell you. So, last week we talked about our partnership with 503 Sports. You should get in on it. Do you like retro football merchandise, retro football gear? Not only do they have XFL jerseys, t-shirts, hats, but they also have things from the USFL, the World Football League, and others. So click the link down in the description. Use the coupon code XFL2K to get 10% off. It won't hurt. It'll make you look cool, and it'll make you feel signed up. And hey, if you're in a buying mood and you don't necessarily want a jersey, but you do want to support the site, pick up one of these sweet XFL 2K t-shirts at shop.xfl2k.com. Get signed up. Every purchase that you make helps support the website, the channel, the podcast. All the money goes right back into it to make it better because one day, hey, we want some real lighting. We might want a good microphone. And hey, we are spending our own money to build this channel up, but your support helps as well. But one last thing before we let you go, we're also on Facebook and Twitter at XFL2KCom, no dot. Still trying to get that premium handle. Come on, dude, answer your messages and sign me up. And since we're on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to see when we're dropping new videos. Some are going to be live and some are going to be pre-recorded just like this one. So until next time, ooh, sign you up.